Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of this live tonight. This is Real Talk with Coach Sherri, and we are at episode number 15. Oh, my goodness. And I have a very special guest tonight. But first, I want to tell you this channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. Tonight's live is sponsored by Creative Minds Create. If you have that hard to buy for a person in your life, that loved one that has everything, or that loved one that can buy whatever they want, and you just don't know what to get them because they're just the hardest person to purchase for, buy them a personalized, customized piece of jewelry, a beautiful piece of jewelry that can have a momentous photo added to it. You would send the company Creative Minds Create. You would send them a photo. It could be a photo of you and that special person, a special moment, the baby, their children, whatever that will just really keep them motivated and something that they will cherish forever. Creative Minds Create. They have the most beautiful jewelry, and I will put their let me put their website up here so that you can be sure to catch them. I highly recommend that you go check them out. They have silver and gold tone jewelry, and I am grateful that they are today's sponsor for this live. I'm so happy to have you all here. I see some people are coming into the building. I see Deborah's Glad Tidings. Hi, Deborah. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I know that there's a lot going on this Friday night, and you could have been anywhere else, but I appreciate you and everyone else in the building for deciding to come to this live. Hi, Monique. How are you, Sorors? Great to see you. Hi, Kevin King. Thank you, Kevin King, for being here, giving a big thumbs up. Hello, you are beautiful, Monique. Thank you. I'm glad that everyone is here. I appreciate you. And I have a very special guest, and I know we have a lot of things that we are great at, and people will always tell us, oh, you know what? You do an awesome job at baking cakes. You know, you really decorate your home really nicely. You do hair so wonderful. Oh, you are a true artist. But we don't always see that as a business. We just see that as a hobby, as something that we're great at, a craft, just something that we like to do. But especially now when multiple streams of income is really, really important, more so than ever. Think about those things that you are great at. Think about those things that you enjoy, those things that people are always asking you to do, to create. Well, my next guest, she took her artistic style in 2018 and developed it into an amazing business. And it just keeps on evolving. Every time I speak to her, something new is coming up with her business, and it is really exciting. And so I wanted her to come here today to share her tips of the trade. How does she start her business? What type of business it is, how it's evolving, what's coming up, what's going on, and just to inspire someone out there who is on the fence on whether or not to start a business. So once again, I want to thank my sponsor, Creative Minds Create. And without further ado, I'm going to bring up my special guest. And her business is Javonna Creative. Javonna Create. Javonna Creative. I know she had told me before, Sherri, I think you're getting me mixed up a little bit with your sponsor, but she is Javonna Creative, and she is all things creative. And I am bringing her up here. And hello, Javonna, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Hello, everyone.
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you, Kevin King, for sharing this live. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone for being here. So, Javonna, welcome to the live. This is Friday Night Live Real Talk with Coach Sherri. And so many people are, like I said, interested in starting a new business, starting their own business. They have these skills, they have these talents, and they just don't know where to start. And so I wanted you to come on today and talk more about Javonna Creative, LLC. I know you started in 2018, but what made you start that as a business?
I think the biggest spark of inspiration to actually turn it into a business came from me watching other people online and just realizing that I could maybe do that. So then I started researching. I've always made things though. I was that child in elementary school who brought home all the macaroni arts. I painted everything at my house. I made t-shirts. I made dresses for my dolls out of t-shirts. So I've always been creative. So I'll just start there. But I think watching other people who did things similar to me, painters, people who made things out of resin, I feel like that was something I could do when I saw people mostly on Instagram doing it. So I think that's where I got the idea, just social media. It makes
Okay.
it more accessible. It makes you feel like a person is just like you because we're all on the same platform. So when I see someone on Instagram that they take us to the store, they vlog, they show us pictures of what they ate, and then I go, she's just like me. So I can do a business just like her.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you again for everyone being in the building. I highly encourage you to get your pen and paper ready to capture the nuggets that are going to be dropped in tonight's live. So, yes, drop in those nuggets. So, Javonna, first of all, explain to my listeners, to my viewers, to everyone that's in the building, also with replay, all right? What exactly is your business? What is Javonna Creative?
Javonna Creative, as of now, is a business that provides different services and products. So I'll start with my products. One of the first things that I started doing was just paintings, and I did sell a few paintings, but I did also make those images from said paintings into cards, into notebooks,
Love it.
and I did also do high quality art prints. So that was one of my first products, and that was one of my things that really got me some notoriety. People loved it. The second product I have are coasters, art coasters. Now, there's a couple of different ones I make. One is ceramic, made out of tiles, or out of just a ceramic coaster that's blank that can be painted or anything else. And then the other item I have are the resin coasters that I actually make from molds. So those are my main products currently. What I would like to expand into are a few other things. I also make, which you can see a little piece of it right here. I also make commission paintings. This is a commission painting that's an abstract that someone asked me to do, because commission is more like, oh, can you do this? I want it to look like that. So I do commission paintings as well.
That's
There's
awesome.
There's another service I provide. I also do paint and sips, as they're commonly called. I usually call them creative workshops because I don't want to only sell the fact that I do only paint and sips. I also do corporate team building. I also do children's parties, which we know children do not sip. Children just snack, or maybe, have a birthday cake or something, or, cookies. So I wanted to always be clear that I can do any creative workshop. Those are mainly paintings, true, but I've also done flower pot painting. I've done that with adults and children. I've also done where we make different crafts and collages and different things like that. I would love to use my talents for homeschool children, for example, because I feel like creativity can be utilized by anyone. I mean, anyone. So those are the main things I do currently. Um, as you said in the introduction, though, I'm growing,
Yes.
fully
Always
embracing it.
evolving.
Yes, growing and evolving, and I'm embracing it as it comes. So I'm just operating off of what I'm doing and what gives me joy and what gives me fulfillment as a creative. And then if something comes to me or I see an opportunity that I want to go towards, then Javonna Creative keeps evolving.
Absolutely. And so, Javonna, one of the things that, really attracted me to what you do is that a lot of artists, they get stuck in just doing the art of it, but you took and made your art into usable products. like the journals, like the coasters, like the Christmas ornaments. And I
Right.
thought that was brilliant. So you're taking your images and you're transferring them and allowing other people to utilize them in so many different useful ways. And for those of you who are in business, and if you have something that you create, if you are just using it in that form, you are missing out on so many additional streams, so
Correct.
many different types of merchandise that you can have available. How has that part of your business growing into that area, how has that really helped you?
It has helped me because it parallels being a creative, period, to be honest with you. It just like I can use endless, almost infinite combinations and amounts of different types of mediums, you can apply that concept to income streams and product streams and service streams. You literally can make it branch out like a tree. Every bough will have 7 branches if you want it to. You have to not, you have to think in an unlimited fashion. You have to say to yourself, I'm not going to assume what someone would want. As you said, I put one of my images on a notebook. I didn't even know that somebody would want it, but that's one of my best sellers, to be honest. And then I also have cards which are currently blank, but I'm going to change them more into greeting cards. You mentioned the ornaments. I do make ornaments as well, and I didn't even remember because I only made them seasonally. But with the ornaments and all different things, it's just the only limits are what you can think of. The only limits are what you can think of. That's what it means to me.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. A lot of people put limits on themselves. They put themselves in a box. And I know some people think because they are entrepreneurs that they are automatically out of the box. But once you're out of the 9 to 5 type of box and you are an entrepreneur, you still have to evolve even with that. And I
Right.
want to also go back into the live stream. I see Picky Dell, Mama Dell is in the building. Mike 2.0. Thank you, Mike. That's so nice. He said, this is the best channel ever. I appreciate you. I welcome to everyone here. And so Monique Scott is saying this is awesome. Love the coaster creative. Yes,
Oh,
the coaster idea is creative idea that Javonna had, and I know that it's also helping her expand because I know when I did jewelry, when I went into my closet, and that's where I got the idea because literally God gave me that idea to make it was beaded necklaces that would hold name badges or eyeglasses. At the time, I was not working anywhere that needed a name badge. I didn't have eyeglasses to put on there. It's just something that he gave me.
right.
And I was just doing it just for a hobby. And when a friend of mine's, a really good friend of mine's came and said this could be a business, I realized I needed to do more than just that. So I evolved into bracelets, rings, different types of things that were jewelry, purses, belts, just to keep the merchandise flowing and try to appeal to different, even though basically I had my target audience, but I wanted that target audience to have me to be their accessories person, to be able to just come and get what they needed from me. And I knew I had to expand the type of inventory that I offered. So
Right.
with your business, your art business, and I know as a business owner, you have to sit down and hopefully you are doing this quarterly, where you are assessing your products, you're assessing what's working well, what's not,
Right.
what's hot, what's not. So far, just I know you've been in business since 2018.
Right.
What has been one of the best products that you offer?
Well, I think there's two, the coasters, because there's so many different types. And then there's also the notebooks are, I had to order them twice from my supplier. So I ran out. And what that has shown me though, is that I need to offer different sizes. So they're mini, they're about this big. I should have just had some sitting here, right? But that's okay. I have, they're about 4 inches long, and people love those. And it made me think, oh, well, I'll just have an 8.5 by 11 size also, which is coming. That's definitely coming because for the holidays, I'm definitely beefing up my inventory as you do. So by the end of this month, my goal is to have everything I need to have. Um, so yeah, that's the thing. And then the cards are also a bestseller, and they're blank currently, but I did want to add, because I now have more tools at my disposal. I can
Mhm.
alter the image to have different greetings as Hallmark or another company does, and it can expand my audience, because more people that don't want to figure out what to say will buy those because it'll already say what they want. So yeah, those are my two that I could say: the notebooks slash cards and the coasters.
Okay.
I plan to do, piggybacking off us speaking about different streams, piggybacking off of us speaking of how I do the courses and the workshops, classes and workshops. I also want to develop some courses, because there are a lot of things that people ask me, how do you do that? What are the supplies? Oh, I just don't know how to even set that up. I don't know where to begin, but they have that creative spirit, and you can tell. I meet a lot of people. I can tell they have that spark, they have that ability, but they just don't know kind of the bones of it. They don't know the mechanics of it or the
Yeah.
practicality of it. So since I've done a lot of that through trial and error, I want to I want to share it with other people. And in this age of COVID, I don't think I'll be doing a whole lot of in-person workshops, maybe a few here and there of limited numbers, and great spacing. But
Yeah. Social distancing.
right, social distancing,
Hmm.
like, just stay. So with that in mind, though, I would like to still reach my audience, because we are still keeping in touch through, as I said earlier, Instagram. We feel like we're kind of with each other because we can see so much of each other's lives. So I said, why not take that to the teaching um, level? A little about training, so I just
Yeah.
do that. So that's something that, just, I think, once you get on that train, once you get on that path, you just start to think of new things. Inspiration has to find you working, as they say. I don't know who said that quote. I should have researched it, but it's one of my favorite ones. I should have written it down so I would know who said it. But inspiration has to find you working. You have to have that ball in motion so it can keep rolling. So I encourage anyone listening to this right now or the replay, if you have any creative ambitions, anything that you would like to make, educate yourself. It starts from education, because education leads to empowerment, and just it just starts you on a solid foundation. And then you have the
Absolutely.
confidence to move forward. And I took a long time to answer that, but it just hit
You're fine.
it just hit
You're
me to
fine.
say, the spirit moved me to say it.
Absolutely. And I want to also point out Picky Dell, if Picky Dell Mama Dell is still in the building,
Hello.
that's the one I had forwarded the head wraps and the face mask combo that she has. Beautiful.
I love a good
Beautiful.
rap now, so
Yeah. So that's
revisit.
her new business. She has that new business. Deborah's Glad Tidings is an author, and she reads amazing stories on her YouTube channel. Mike 2.0 is a great supporter. Monique Scott is a great supporter. Kevin King is an inspirational, motivational YouTube, just a connoisseur of how to grow your channel, build your business on YouTube. Kevin King is great. If anyone in the live, if you don't have each other, I highly recommend that you connect, because there are some great people in the building right now. So I
I'm
do
in
want
company. Hello, everyone, again.
yeah,
And we'll be utilizing, because I need to start a YouTube. As somebody said, I need to go ahead and do that.
yeah. So Kevin King has a great channel. He has great tips, great advice on how to build your YouTube channel the right way. And he is very supportive. So, and Deborah Glad Tidings, I do have one of her books. I actually won it in a challenge that she had going on, but she's wonderful. If you love to just hear someone speak a word and just read a fascinating story, I highly recommend that you go to her channel. She's really good. Yeah. And Picky Dell Mama Dell, there is a son and daughter. I mean, a daughter, I'm sorry, a son and a mother. And they do a lot of challenges, but they are entrepreneurially spirited. And that's why Mama Dell has those head wraps and those face masks that match. They're beautiful. And she wears head wraps all the time, and they always match. And I'm just happy to see that she has her business up and running. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 2018, it really wasn't that long ago. And I know a lot of people always ask me, like, should I do an LLC? Should I not? What have been the benefits of you doing an LLC for your business?
It's in the name, limited liability, limited
Right?
liability, corporation. I also educated myself back to education. I did a business course and with Nicole Walters. It was called 1K One Day. And of course, the goal is to average $1,000 a day, which is wonderful. And I'm fully sure that I'll get there one day. But it definitely taught you the meat and potatoes of the back end of being an entrepreneur. So an LLC was highly recommended because of limited liability. You never know what would happen. You don't want to be in a situation where, if unfortunately, nobody wants this to happen, a legal issue comes up where someone feels that they should bring a civil suit against you. If I were a sole proprietor, that would be me and my social security number and everything I own attached to that on the line in such said civil case. So that's why I do want to have an LLC. One of the other reasons is because when you want to file taxes, you can file them a certain way because you have the LLC, and you can also do S Corp, which don't start me, giving those details, but it's a benefit to be able to file such depending on what kind of situation you're in financially. So those are the things. I also took the extra step to get an EIN number, because when I open my accounts, when I do different things with my business, when I'm going to lease my company vehicle soon, that's what I will be using.
Yes. And also, it's good if you have, I want to tell people, for those who have young children, that you are still supporting in any kind of way, especially if they are under the age of 18. You can actually pay them and write that off like as a business expense. Correct. So if you know that you spend, say, I don't know, $5,000 a year on your children in clothes or something like that, or what, like I would say, add up however much you figure you spend on your children a year and use that as their salary.
Yes.
So this way, a lot of the people are doing that. I don't know if I'm giving away a secret, but a lot of people are doing that. And it is a huge, huge benefit because you actually have a tax write-off. And in some cases, you might get money back because of that. So, and it's money you was going to spend anyway, but it's really going towards them regardless. But if you can write that off from the taxes, that's really the only way you could do that. Right. So,
I wish I knew that back when my son was younger. But now that he's 21, but what I'm going to do, though, is sooner than later have him establish his own LLC for the tax benefits, because he is a single young man with an income, no children, no dependents. So he is definitely going to get, tax season, So listen, they're like, oh.
And you know what? I'm wondering, because, I grew up in a brick and mortar business, and I worked in my parents' business literally since I was 8 years old. I want to say I started getting a regular pay every week when I was about 12 or 13. And I was getting a substantial amount of money every week. I mean, for back then, I'm talking about the 80s. So I was making like close to $150 a week. That's a lot. And I'm wondering if my parents was using that as a tax write-off. I mean, knowing my mother, she probably was, because she was into the bookkeeping and they had close connections with their accountant. But I wonder, now that I know that that's what a lot of people do, I always wonder if that's what they did with me, because I couldn't believe the amount of money that I got. I was very appreciative of it. I did work very hard. But, if they did that back then, that was brilliant. Kudos to you.
Sounds like it was a win-win.
It was. It really was. So, all right, you started in 2018. You said, you know what? I'm making this into a business. I'm going all the way out. What was the biggest challenge that you had in going from it being a hobby, something that you love to do, to now it's a business?
I'm not going to lie. I was nervous because of the amount I invested, and feeling like, in the back of my mind, the back of my mind, I'm not saying it was in the front, but it was in the back. Um, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't sell things? What if this money just got, pitched down a black hole? Um, I just had to get over that. I believed in myself, and I told myself, okay, what I can do is mitigate the damage by saying, I'll only start out with this amount. And if I don't make anything, see any return, see any, anything from it, I'm done. And then that money will be regenerated, bank accounts grow, and that's it. But that did not happen. I was pleasantly surprised. It's like once that energy was put out by me, it came right back. And people wanted to buy my art prints. People wanted me to make them a painting. And then the notebooks were one of the biggest ones. People wanted the notebooks. And I said, So if I put more out, I'll get more back. And that's what's happening. I'm at the point where I'm starting to get collaborations. I'm working on one right now. I've done one already last year. And I'm just pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But also my confidence is building. I'm never going to get to the point where I say, oh, I got it. I got everything figured out. Ooh, wee. But, because you're always a student, you're always evolving. But I'm getting to the point where the confidence is going up. So when someone asks me, do you do that? Instead of saying, maybe I can figure it out, I say, yes, I do. And when do you come in? And here's my terms. And that's another thing I can talk about too, related to that, is I've had to educate myself about contracts, about invoices. I literally looked it up online before, just as a start. What does a licensing contract look like? What should I address in said contract? You don't want to just make that up in your head. You don't have to. The most empowering thing is knowledge, even when you're a creative, because everything has to have a logical base. Everything has to have, just the legal structure, to be honest, because you don't assume something's going to go wrong, but you want to be protected if it does. And you are one of the people I've consulted, because you have so much experience, working since you were in the single digits of age, and having had businesses. You are a great resource. And I encourage anyone, when you're welcome, you also a friend, but the resource, I appreciate you for sharing with me, some of your knowledge, and a lot of your knowledge, because sometimes people are scared to ask. Sometimes people are scared and they say, oh, well, she's going to see that I don't even have a large business and I haven't done it for that long. No, you need to ask people. You need to make use of your resources. They may be a person. They may be a website. You may have to pay. I've done all three and more to base, because I'm hungry for that structure. I'm hungry for that foundation to be successful, So
Absolutely. Definitely. I always say closed mouths don't get fed.
I see Picky Dell. Yes, it can be trying at times. Yes, it is trying. You have to kind of pep talk yourself. You have to say, no, keep going, because remember that time that worked, and remember that time. It's okay. Being an entrepreneur is also not a straight line like working for someone else. You don't get that paycheck every week. You don't get that consistent, those consistent orders coming in. That income is, sometimes you'll get a huge amount and then it'll be nothing, flat line, but you have to still work. Again, inspiration has to find you working, you have to keep that ball rolling. If you stop, it's just going to plummet. I haven't completely stopped, but I have slowed down before, and I've regretted it every time. So you almost have to always be in the planning phase, even if you're not in the active phase.
Yeah.
You have to always work on it. And that is a misconception that some people have about being an entrepreneur. Like, there's this idea floating around that you just sit there and eat bonbons and you don't work. It's like, no. The difference that I say, I've been in business for a couple of years now. The thing I will say is it doesn't feel like work. I've been tired. especially with some of these paint parties and workshops and things like that, staying up making coasters, whatever the case may be. But I haven't felt like it was work. And
Mhm.
I've been happy to be tired. But working for someone else, which I also still do, even when I don't do as much to be physically tired, I'm mentally tired because I'm not focused on, I'm not passionate about what I'm doing. I'm grateful to have it because I still need income and it's a base for me to grow my business to where I don't need to work for someone else. But my point is, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to just work. And there is no not working, but there is a feeling of satisfaction from working. There is a huge benefit. You get all the benefit from working for yourself. But when
Mhm.
you own something, it's like your baby. It's like you have to constantly give to it. Anyone who's a parent knows that that's just an endless amount of giving, but it's also endless rewards. I say being a mother is the hardest job, but then also the best job I've ever had. It's the
Right.
rewarding job I've ever had because I nurtured that child. I'm still nurturing that child. He's a young man. I'm still, that's just my job. So that's kind of how I see my business. That's my job. This is what I do. This is what I do. Oh, hey,
Absolutely.
that's my cousin. Hi.
Yeah. Hi, Obed. How are you? And I also see Deborah's glad tidings is saying
Yes.
people are also reluctant to ask because some people aren't eager to share their knowledge. And
Right.
that's true. But, I always still say ask anyway, because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing they could say is no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a complete sentence, and you just move on. You just know, okay, I'm not going to ask them that. But and she also is saying, as a business owner, you work harder and longer hours, but like you said, because you're doing what you have a passion for, it makes it worth it. It
Mm-hmm.
does. It does. And Obed is
It
saying
is
that he is
well.
doing great. That's good to hear. And I want to pause right here because I also want to acknowledge my sponsor for this show. And my sponsor, once again, for this show is Creative Minds Create.
Mhm.
And their tag is the best gifts are creative. And they have amazing gifts for that person who is hard to buy for, that person who has everything, that person who could buy themselves anything. But the one thing a person typically will not buy themselves is a personalized, customized gift. And so they have beautiful jewelry in gold and silver tone. And you would send them a picture, and they're able to put that picture on that jewelry. And it is so beautiful on a bracelet, on a necklace. And it's a great keepsake. If you know someone who may have lost a loved one, that's a great sympathy gift. Someone who has a birthday, the holidays are coming upon us, a wonderful anniversary gift to put. Imagine someone who's celebrating a monumental year of being married and giving them a gift with their wedding photo on it. There's just so many different things. A new mother and giving them the baby on a necklace, a picture of their baby. Just there's a lot of different things that they do, that they can do to make those gifts just that much more special. This is their website, creativemindscreate.com. I encourage you to go check them out and keep them in the forefront of your mind for when you have to purchase your next gift.
Mhm.
And so I have Javonna Creative here, and she is my special guest. And she is telling us and sharing with us how she started her own business, which started off as a hobby, something that she was great at. And she has evolved this business in just 2 years into all things creative. She has had the wherewithal to say, I'm more than just an artist who puts out work. I'm also an artist who is able to put my work on merchandise, on a variety of things. And she's also able to utilize her talents, being able to stand in front of a crowd and do parties for people of all ages, even corporate events. So, share, how did you get into corporate events? Because that's something that a lot of people in business don't really realize that they possibly can pivot their craft into.
Right. And I'm going to be 100% transparent and talk about the day job again. I two people at the day job.
Yes.
I said, is there a need for this? I, again, did the research and said, they do team building. Now, do they want to do a murder mystery or a field day again for the 10,000th time? Because that seems to be the two things everyone does, and they're so bored with it. They're done with that. So I thought to myself, how about me doing something? And it was so successful. I actually ended up doing two now that I think about that. I'm glad you asked me that, because I started with, actually I did three. What am I saying? So I did one that was just a painting. We did the skyline of Charlotte, just something. I created it for them. I often do that. Actually, I actually have made most of them except one. I've never really been given an image for my paint parties. I just create something if someone asks me. So I did the skyline from Charlotte, and that was pretty simple to paint. And then the second one was flower pots that we painted. This was another team building, different group. It was actually a person. There's one person who was in all my classes now that I'm thinking about it, because she just made it her business to sign up early. Because another thing, because it was my occupation, I didn't get paid because conflict, but I definitely got some experience. I was able to bring joy to my coworkers. A big payment. I loved it. And then I also was able to use said images with permission for my website and for my social media and things of that nature. I also did a third one that was Christmas themed. It was a snowman, and that was for a specific group. Now that I was asked to do by that specific group of coworkers, because they always do something. They usually just do a lunch, which lunches are fine, but they wanted to add another dimension because they already knew what I had done twice before. So then I've been starting to get tagged. And then I know I love it. Like, it just grows when you feed it, right? So then on the personal side, on non-business, I actually got asked to do a Zoom paint party too. So it just starts to grow. People start to associate you with your gift, with your business. And that would also take me back to be consistent on social media. I'm saying this because I'm still working and progressing in this. But I do see when I'm more consistent, I do get more requests. I do get more business. So while I'm still working on this journey myself, I have a long way to go. I encourage everyone also to, if you're thinking about doing this, get yourself out here on social media and consistently let people know what it is you do. You can't assume they're going to remember. You can't assume they're not going to have something else they're thinking about that distracts them. And then when they come back, and here's a scenario. I'm busy, COVID, stressed with COVID. And I know I wanted somebody to do a paint party, but I'm not doing it for 2 months. I see somebody post about it in March, but I know I want to do mine in May. They only post in March. I've forgotten who was that again. But then if this person posts every week, I'll see them before I get ready to plan my party, because every week from March to May, they've been there like, hello, do you want me to do that? Not that you're literally doing that, but that's the messaging. You're saying, hey, here's what I have to offer. And also it's important to actually be passionate about what you do, because then that's not a chore. You don't want to pick a business that you don't care about, because that will be very clear and it'll be tiresome for you. It'll feel like working for somebody. It'll feel like you're just being drained. So
absolutely. I want to jump into, and those are all great tips. You want to stay present. You want to be in front of people as much as possible when you are building your business, and even beyond that. And sometimes you may find yourself doing some things for, I call it, what is it that I call it? Pro bono. Pro bono. And that a lot of times will pivot you and give you more opportunities. It's giving you more exposure to people that you may not have gotten exposure from. And it just allows you also to practice. If you're doing it pro bono, you still want to do it as best as you can, as professional as you can. But at least the host understands. I don't want to say you get what you pay for, but that you are, still a work in progress, and that you're utilizing this time to hone your skills. I want to say hello to Miss Terrell 2.0. I love that she said, "What up, though, Coach Sherri?" Also, you can talk your way to healthier relationships. I'm glad to see you here. And Obed, this is the website to my sponsors. Website is creativemindscreate.com. And that's with a K, with the creative minds, and create is with a C.
Mm-hmm.
And I highly recommend that you go check them out. And of course, Javonna Creative LLC is my special guest tonight. So, Javonna, another thing that I know, and you and I have had discussions about this too, and this is something that I think is probably one of the hardest hurdles for new business owners to go over, and that is pricing. Being competitive, charging what your items are worth, charging what you're worth as well, because a lot of people get confused and they just charge what the item is, but it's also your time.
That's right.
So how did you get comfortable with your pricing?
Okay, so there was two things. The first thing I will go back to is the workshop that I paid for, because sometimes you just have to pay to get information, which is fine. So in the workshop, we were given an example where you say, here's what happens when you just base your prices off of other people or what you think people would want to pay. There's a lady who sells, I don't know, lollipops, and she's able to sell them for 30 cents each. So you say, oh, I'll make mine 30 cents each. What you don't know is that her uncle supplies her with one of the ingredients wholesale. What you don't know is that her church, gave her a bunch of sticks for free, for the lollipops.
Right.
And she's making a certain profit that you're not making because you've had to buy everything yourself. And you said to yourself, oh, I'll just do what she's doing. You have to make an informed decision when it comes to pricing is, the point of that story. So what made me comfortable was I learned from the workshop to, yes, factor in materials, keep organized with what I'm paying for, and keep a record of it, as a business, keeping a record of it. And also what I'm going to pay myself every hour. In the beginning, I didn't pay myself a whole lot every hour, but I did have a number that I wanted to make, and I stood firm in that. I didn't have a lot of customers in the beginning before I was able to prove my value. I get it. I understand. Mm-hmm. But as people have talked, as I've had testimonials and feedback from customers, then people understand, oh, it's worth it. And a question of worth, it's a question of just the customer recognizing the value that they get, because everybody's worthy. It's not that. But when a customer says something's worth it, that means they get value for what they've paid. So that's what I mean by worth it. But that's how I've been able to be encouraged to stay firm with my pricing. I know how long it takes to do things. I know the level of quality paints I use. I know how long it takes me to do the process. And as an entrepreneur doing anything, especially creative, you have to let go of this idea that somebody says, oh, well, I can just throw some paint like this is painting behind me. Or I could just swirl some stuff. Well, that's actually not what I do. And there's so many layers on there, you can't even tell, but there's a whole process. And that's not something that I'm willing to convince somebody of, to be honest with you. I'm just going to charge what I charge, and you'll see the value or you don't. I do share my process to an extent, and I plan to share more. And that's part of the reason for being consistent with sharing and being on social media and letting people know what you do in detail, good amount of detail, because you want to sell yourself and you want to also give people peace of mind that you actually know what you're doing. So knowing all those pieces to that puzzle, I set my pricing and that's it. Like you have to factor in time, materials, and you just have to. Time and materials are the biggest parts of the puzzle. And when people, value your talents and passion.
Absolutely.
100%. Because as I said, as a creative, just because it comes easier to me because that's one of my gifts that was God given, it doesn't mean that it's worthless. It means that this lady didn't want to make the painting, or this lady didn't want to plan a whole paint class, so she hires me to do it. That's valuable.
It is.
No, I'm not going to charge her $2,000 for 1 hour, but I'm also not going to charge her, $10 per person or something like that. That's below my
cost factor.
Thank you. below my cost factor. Thank you for the correct. I was reaching for it. I was like,
I got you.
So if it's below my cost factor, we're not doing it. But with that being said, I'm not looking down upon anybody, and I'm not saying that, for me to do anything, you have to pay me. I make it a point to find ways to give back. I find it rewarding, and it's also part of my mission just as a person to help people be creative. But since it's a business, I can't do everything for free, right? So that's another reason you have to charge what you charge, because then that frees you up when you do have time to not have to grasp for every dollar. You can say, oh, well, I've made what I need to make for the month or for the quarter, and then I can then donate my talents to some kids. I can then make a free course. I can then, do different things like that, because you have to keep that in mind as you scale your business. You have to build everything that's important to you into your business. So pricing is just one of those really important things that will get you where you want to go. It'll help you structure correctly, and it'll help you profit. You set your pricing and stand on it. And you can say it in a nice way, because there are people, no matter what you do, they're going to complain about the price, because really they have this idea, oh, you just throw some stuff together, I can do that myself. And it was a funny story on Facebook where a lady did that. She said, well, I looked it up, and your materials only cost $13. So I think you should sell it to me for $13 plus shipping. And the lady actually said, okay, I'll do that. Cool. You've convinced me. Do you know? And this was like a story, so I don't think it was real, but she literally sent the lady the components in a box. And of course, the lady was like, whoa,
what do I do with this?
I was like, I thought that's all it was worth. Oh, you wanted the special sauce for me to put it together for you.
Oh, I got you.
Pay for. So if you'd like to send those back, then this is my price.
Right.
That's just
kind of a good example. That's a great example.
Oh, yes.
I also want to say, when you said don't base your price on others, that is such a true statement, because when I did my jewelry, I had in for pearls. I knew a flight attendant. She would go to Hong Kong and get my pearls. And so the cost of what I was able to sell my pearl jewelry for, no one else could do that. And at least no one else on my level. I'm not talking about stores or whatever. And when other people who created jewelry tried to, they were losing so much. They just couldn't keep up. They couldn't understand. And I said, that's because I have this person, and that's my secret weapon. But, not to give that away. And also, if you do give your services away for free, for pro bono, make sure that you still send a receipt, and you want to mark that on your taxes as well, that you did this particular service. You typically would charge this, but you gave this service for free so that you can utilize it for taxes. And so many businesses that donate items, that, give out free things or whatever, they don't do that sometimes. And I'm like, you're missing out. You need to do that, because that's still, you gave them something of value. For instance, let's put it that way. Let's just leave it there. I want to look into the chat. I see that Vernell Livingston is in the building, and she's saying hello to everyone, and I adore her. She calls me always love Sherri because of ALS and when I was my mom's caregiver, and I love that.
That's sweet.
I see everyone is speaking. Obed is saying value your talents and your passion. Deborah's glad Tidings has a question, and she said, how do you keep up with the demand for your products that you make? And before you answer, I just want to let her know, for me, when I did especially jewelry, I had to get an external vendor, show them what I did, what I needed. And, I went down to the jewelry district in New York and found someone that was able to do, because I was starting to do things on a mass level. Like I would have orders for one type of necklace, 300 of them, or yeah, at a time.
I'm waiting for that. Ooh.
And I'm gonna tell you, when you get those types of contracts, you want to double back with them all the time. Don't let it be one and done. You want to stay in constant contact with your customers, especially the ones that are buying in large quantities, because you want to take note of when they're buying it, because that could possibly be a guaranteed sale every year at that time. So keep in contact, send those thank you notes, send those follow-ups, all those things is part of your marketing. It's really important to communicate. Some people get that one big sale and they are done. They're like, whoa, that happened. And they're just waiting for so many more people. I don't mind the ones and dones, but I'd rather the return customers. So but you have to develop, you have to massage those relationships. It's really, really important. So for you, and I know that you've done some mass productions, serious mass productions as well. So how do you keep up with the demand for your product, Javonna?
Well, what I do for now, I haven't reached those levels where it's huge, but I'm working on it. I'm working on some things, but what I've implemented now, because it was a struggle, I'm not going to lie. It's not all, this whole me being on here is not to say, look how great I did and I did everything right and it was perfect. No, I'm going to be real so that everyone can get this information. So sometimes I'm very transparent. So when the orders come in, usually I've made said item, coasters, I have the notebooks in stock, things like that. So a couple of times I've had people unfortunately say, oh, I'm ready for my coaster. Where's my coaster? And I'm sitting here like finishing it because there's a, multi-level process. So what I've learned to do now is not really advertise things if I don't have a certain amount available. So that's how I keep up with the demand, because I don't even create the demand yet. And then with somebody just coming to me saying, hey, can you just make this for me? Then that's already understood that it's going to take a certain amount of time when we're talking commission. So that's not something where you're keeping up with demand. But for instance, when the holiday season is pretty much about to be upon us, I'm going to make a certain amount of each type of coaster, and I'm going to do releases. So literally, for instance, I'll make a whole bunch that are black and white. I'll make a whole bunch that have metallics. I'll make a whole bunch that have my artwork on them, because there's ladies that I did in my artwork that could go well on a coaster. The same ones from the notebooks, because I see that people like those images. So why not reuse them? I own them. I made them. So I'm going to do that. Why recreate the wheel? And then give me an opportunity to create new people. So what I do is, my formula going forward is going to be, I'm going to make a whole bunch of them because I kind of have a good handle on what would sell. And I'm also taking a leap of faith because I have no idea if that amount is going to sell. But that's part of being an entrepreneur. You don't know, you're just going to do it. That's your plan. You stick to it. So the demand will be created as I show everyone how I'm making them, but I'll have it. So that's how I'll keep up. I hope not to sell out though, because I've been sometimes selling out is like, ooh, that's done.
But selling out's not always a bad thing. That shows that it's limited, and it puts a sense of urgency for the next time you promote that you have something coming up.
Right. And I was going to say that because I've sold out before, notebooks, things like cards, and then people are like, I want some, because it kind of makes, it's selling out. What's that? And it kind of draws attention. That's how human psychology works. So you have to have an element of that too. I follow a young lady on online who does body care products, and she does that. She does releases, and that's where I want to get to. World, because releases does a couple of things. It helps you control your flow of products and services. It helps you get that shipping right, because you're only shipping on every other week in for instance, because that's kind of what she does. She releases every 2 weeks. On that off week, she's shipping, packaging, getting stuff. Oh, I'm so in awe of her.
Wait, hold on. I want to make sure everybody's catching this. I hope you have your pen and paper ready and are catching these nuggets, because this is serious information for real.
And
Okay,
I'm giving it to you guys as I'm implementing it too. Because again, I'm not speaking from this tower of excellence, like, I know everything. But what I'm saying is that I'm starting to model myself after things that I see work. As they say, success leaves footprints? Success leaves footprints. Success leaves a trail. Like, you can follow it, not to a T. You don't want to always, you want to be an individual. I'm sorry, my grass must be getting cut. I didn't. It's like noise. Sorry,
but I don't hear it.
Oh, good. But so back to what I was saying about the releases. I definitely want to do that because it builds up that urgency. You could say sold out, or not, or just sold all the way down, and then you can put that stuff on clearance when the next, after the next cycle of releases. But my point is that you can build up that anticipation. You can build up that excitement of, oh, she's going to have some. I don't know what she's going to have. It's limited. Yeah. And then you can also spark your creativity. It keeps me from being stagnant. I don't want to make the same thing over and over again. I'm not, Sears or Walmart. But I will bring back some version of something that I know people like, because that's my whole point, is to sell people things that they like, but also that I like making. So we marry those two and have that be cohesive. But pretty much the way I keep up with demand is that I try to control it. And as this Christmas season comes up, I'm going to try my best to do this whole release formula. And I'm going to be successful. I think I can. I've ordered so many coasters. I ordered 200 of the blank ceramic coasters in my last order, and I have a couple floating around. So probably altogether, I have almost 250. And I'm going to split those up and make certain coasters and leave them blank for commissions. But I'm literally going to make them. I'm going to commit, and I'm scared. Like, on the inside, I'm like, oh my gosh, because what you want to do is stay in that comfort zone of, I'll just make a few and I know people will buy these, and then we'll just go and grow. But to grow and to scale and to evolve, you have to take these leaps. You have to level up.
Yeah.
Leveling up this holiday season.
Let me tell you, I'm going to give a bit of advice too, especially for the creatives that are out there. Because when I think about it, I definitely would have still had my jewelry business, and it would have, it was already at a serious level, because I had sales consultants and doing all over the country it was major. What really tripped me up is doing customized work. Woo! Especially for brides. That right there, because I recognize that I'm a creative soul, but I'm not a creative soul that can do things on demand. So I would have loved to have had that knowledge that you just dropped about, what did you call it? Releases.
Yes, releases is like I
had my staple pieces. I had my staple pieces that were those were my sure shots. Those were fine. And I always added new things, new to the collection for every holiday, for every season, because I also did trunk shows. So I designed jewelry for those trunk shows to go with the new clothing for every season. And I love doing that. Those brides, they took me to a whole nother place. Woo! They did. All the edits. I couldn't do it.
It's a lot, and that's why I charge a certain amount for commissions. Currently, it's not, I guess a whole lot. It depends on how you think of it, but I do charge a certain amount for commissions for that very reason.
Yeah, and remember, I told you on your commissions, I suggested to you rather to have a certain amount of edits. Don't leave that open. If you're going to do commission work, you only have 3 edits. You will have this price includes 3 edits. This price includes 2 edits. However, you would feel comfortable with going back to the drawing board or to make those changes, because some brides can be excessive.
Yeah.
And end up really, when you look at it, if you lay it all out, if you make sure you keep all the edits together, like don't throw out the one before, and you'll recognize that last edit is the first one. It's the first one.
You took me all the way around. Yeah, I know.
You're like, but wait, this is the first thing I gave you. So
because what you've done when you leave that open, depending on who it is, of course you hope people won't be like that, but what you've done is insert yourself kind of into their whole like process and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, as a business, this has to be limited. So I can't be in your freak out process of, oh no, I don't want to do that. And then I'll go back to this because, and there's nothing wrong with brides. There's nothing wrong with anyone who does things that are, important to them, and however they deal with it is how they deal with it.
Yeah.
But what you don't want to do is make yourself part of that. So you have to kind of put boundaries around your work. And that's another big, big thing I want everyone to take away from this as an entrepreneur. Boundaries are yours to set. You can do them with professionalism. You can do them with kindness. You can do them with love, but you have to do them and be firm with them. I haven't had any horror stories as of yet, but I have friends who do everything from make earrings to musicians I know to just people who do filming and video. And I've heard some things that I don't have to go through it because they set the tone for what could happen. And I just don't even want to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
So
I'm impressed. I see Vernell is saying, Vernell Livingston is saying, I was brought up, don't give somebody nothing you wouldn't want to have, somebody you wouldn't do. Wait, I was brought up, don't give somebody nothing you wouldn't want. Do you have somebody with you would want? I get that. So basically, don't give what you wouldn't want to receive. And you can talk your way to healthier relationships. She's asking, how do you explain your cost when your competitors are able to offer it much cheaper?
That is a great question. Thank you for asking that because I wanted to touch on it, but it kept running away while I was, I get passionate and I feel like I have to say something. So I just, even if I veer off, I just say it. So, but the way I explain my cost is I don't explain my cost. I don't justify what my cost is. And I'm not saying that to be mean. Please hear what I'm saying here because I'm, I don't look mean while I'm saying that. I'm not upset about this. I'm confident in this, and I'll tell you why. It's because, like we touched on earlier, what I pay for my items, what I've decided I want my accelerated profit to be, or my predictions or projections for scaling my business is just that, my business. So I don't share it with people. I don't qualify it. I don't explain it because I don't want to put that energy out there that I'm asking you what I'm worth.
Right.
You have to be confident out here. And it's not against the consumer because I will tell you, they will find whatever they need to find for cheaper. And it's funny you brought this up because I was just conversing with a young lady on Facebook who does custom cakes. And she said, listen, as much love as I can. She was a little spicy because I think she was frustrated, but she said, look, I'm not giving you a last minute sheet cake for what you think I should pay. I use a certain level of buttercream. I've given my time. I've given my process. I've given you, a sprinkle of my excellence. I'm not doing this. If you want a sheet cake 2 days before your event, you're going to have to go to Publix.
Right. I was going to say.
And that is what it is. That's how you explain your cost. You do not. There are people.
I love that. You know how you explain your cost? You don't. You don't.
And with as much and respect to potential customers and current customers as I could muster. And I mean that for sure. Like, I'm being a little silly, but I mean that for sure. Like, I really do respect people. I'm grateful that they patronize me. I love all my customers. Thank y'all so much. And, it allows me to create when they ask me for things I didn't think to make. I just love it all. It's a beautiful relationship. But you know what? If someone's trying to make me do what I do for so much less, then you know what? That's kind of not my customer. It's a nice person out there that might need to look at other options.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see, oh, wait. Ooh, Vernell was saying, and I have another question. Oh, okay, good. She said she gave the okay sign for that.
Yay, thank you for that thumbs up. Oh, well, thank you for the okay. Thank you.
And Vernell is saying, she's talking back about the, when you're making your products, make so many of one art pattern and say limited edition. And if you have an urgency for that pattern, then you know what pattern to keep on the shelf. Yeah,
Nice.
it's always good to know what your sure shots are. It's really
Mhm.
comforting, actually, too.
And
And then sometimes, next thing you know, you have a whole line. You know, you have a serious collection because this one particular type, maybe not the same exact, but a type is what's really selling. I think Deborah is saying, I forgot I could do this too.
that's cool.
My son and I paint, me to relax, and I sold one by chance. My son sells his. I did a free paint activity on a 16 by 20 canvas for a senior facility. I never did an invoice. Thanks for that nugget. Yes, definitely do that invoice. Mhm.
Keep track of your stuff and keep track of everything you do. And as an entrepreneur, I'm going to say this too. Everything is an opportunity for something else. I know that's kind of a broad thing, but I'll give you an example. For instance, with the comment about make so many of one pattern and say limited edition, and then you know what to keep on the shelf. You're selling something, but you're also conducting a focus group. You can also ask friends and family to be your focus group. Hey, I'm testing this out. Tell me what you think, because I also have an adult coloring book that I'm still drawing, but it's going to come out. It's coming. But about the holidays. But what I'm going to do is give a few to people, and Sherri will probably be one of them, not going to lie. And, what do you think? What can I improve before I even go into production if I order a whole bunch of them? So keep in mind that everything you do can teach you something. Everything can help you quantify how much effort to put into things. Everything can tell you where to invest next. You can also have like your, sure shot, like you said, Sherri, products and services that can kind of keep you at a certain level. And then when you're ready to scale, you can take a chance on something else that can be profitable. You also have to look at your materials. How can I shave off a little here or there? You don't want to make things cheap or low quality, but you want to find maybe different suppliers. I've been in contact with someone in China. Unfortunately, I'm not ready to buy 5,000 coasters at one time, so I'm going to look for someone else. But my point is, I've been doing that research and kind of, working with that as I go along. So basically, you have to just keep your mind open. You never know. Try as you might, you can't see everything before it comes. You can't be an expert. You can't read the minds of your customers and potential customers. You just can't. So you just have to be a sponge. You have to be a constant student. You have to be open to make mistakes. You have to be humble. You just have to. That's why being passionate and really caring about what you do is important, because it's kind of what keeps you going, because it's going to be a challenge at times.
Absolutely. I want to also say, I feel as an entrepreneur, you should be a connector of people, places, and things. So, and not and only just thinking of your business, but you need to think of the businesses of the people in your circle, the people around you. And there are so many things that you can do as an entrepreneur to include other businesses. So for one thing I remember doing, and this opened up so many doors for me. When Katrina happened and I was living in Charlotte, I did live in New Orleans for 3 years. I had my son there, everything, had a lot of friends and stuff, and they were affected, and moved in with friends we had in Houston. And I just remember, like, what can I do? What do y'all need? And at the time I had my jewelry business. And so people were like, we're talking about people who were so used to doing for themselves. And, of course, people were sending them clothes and everything. But I was like, you know what? I want to empower them and send gift cards, like Walmart cards, so that they can go and get what they need, try to empower them more. And I knew people that had 20 people living with them in a 3-bedroom house, it was a lot. Yeah. Well, I gathered other people that I knew that had their own businesses, service type businesses, creative businesses, rented out or reserved my clubhouse and had a vending event. And each person that participated, they donated an item from their collection. And we made a huge basket and sold raffle tickets for all the people that came in to raffle the basket with all the different items. And it was such a success. I mean, we raised thousands of dollars doing that we were able to purchase cars and send out. But the thing is, so many different opportunities. That's when I got involved with trunk parties, with clothing. And people were like, well, can you do this? Like you were saying, you don't say no to the things that people say that are brand new to you. You keep an open mind. You feel that it is aligned with what you're doing. Not that far-fetched. Yeah, absolutely can do it. And so, just meeting new people, meeting their clientele that they invited to the event. So sometimes you might want to think out of the box. If business is slow, figure out how you could partner with other people to enhance and to grow your business organically. I see that Deborah's Glad Tidings, she responded to the thing that she had said before, but she said, that's what I told my son, because he had people he knows question and tried to talk him down from his course. And I thought it was very reasonable. Yeah, you don't want people to talk you down. You can talk your way to healthier relationships. Said, I love the idea of a focus group prior to mass production. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I've definitely seen Javonna do that before. So she's not just telling you something she's going to try. It's something that she actually does. So it would be a great thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you for the encouragement. I see that. You better say it.
Yeah. And Vernell is saying, mistakes sometime is your golden ticket. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. What do you think is wrong to be right in someone else's, could be right in someone else's eyes? Absolutely. For me, I feel like I learn from my mistakes. I love them. Come on, please. Tell me what I'm not doing right, because that is how you grow. How are you going to grow if you keep doing it right? If you're going to keep doing it right, you're going to become stagnant.
Yeah.
So I love that. Absolutely.
And calculated risks are part of the equation. You want to, of course, not lose your house when you make a mistake. So I wouldn't like my house for something I wasn't sure about. But you do want to take a risk, and you do want to embrace the mistakes. I mean, and it has been my golden ticket as a creative. Sometimes I play around with something. I go, "Ooh, that was a mistake," but then I go, "Oh, but I can do that, and that looked kind of cool when it dried," or so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love all the comments here in the chat. Javonna, you are dropping some serious nuggets, and I'm going to take a pause for the cause, and I am going to share information about my sponsor. I'm so excited about this sponsor, Creative Minds Create. And Creative Minds Create, I highly recommend you go to their website. This is their website. It's on the screen. And check them out. They do silver and gold tone jewelry, customized, personalized jewelry for that person that is hard to buy for, that person that has everything, that person that says, I don't need anything. But when they get something that's personalized, they love it. Trust me. I know that's the type of receiver I am. I mean, if I know you put a lot of thought into it, you really considered like just something that I love, and you incorporate it into something I could possibly wear every day, that's just the cat's meow for me. So Creative Minds Create is a great product. I highly recommend, like I said, to go to their website, check them out for the holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, just because, that just because gift to me can outshine just about anything. That just means that you were really, really thinking about me. And their slogan is, the best gifts are creative. And I just think it's so timely that I have Javonna Creative on today as my special guest, talking about her creative business of art, all things creative. That's who Javonna Creative is. And I recommend that you check out her website, which is javonnacreative.com. She's also on Instagram, Javonna Creative LLC.
But it's Instagram is Javonna Creative all together.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's just Javonna Creative. Okay. And on Facebook, Javonna Creative LLC.
Yep.
And if you are interested in emailing her, you can go to Javonna at javonnacreative.com. And, reach out to her, ask her a question, If you have an event coming up, I mean, I know we are social distancing. I know things are challenging. If you want to just send out some just because gifts and you want to see what she has that she can mass produce for you, definitely reach out and ask the question. You never know. I will have her information in the description box below. I'll also make sure to have Creative Minds Creates website in my description box. I'll also put my email address in the description box because I've been receiving a lot of great questions from people who have been tuning into my lives, questions regarding business, questions regarding their careers. I just spoke to someone in Miami today that reached out to me through YouTube. She emailed me. She's a veteran and she is looking to get into an apprenticeship because she understands that after leaving the military, she may not have all the skills needed for a regular civilian job. And she's willing to do a highly skilled, trained type of opportunities such as an apprenticeship. And so I talked to her at length today, and I feel like I was able to help set her on a path, not a clear path, but a path that can be cleared. And she was very pleased. So if you have any questions around career, entrepreneurship, workforce development, anything like that, definitely reach out. I love it. Javonna, do you have anything else that you want to leave the listeners tonight?
Well, I want to say thank you to everyone for talking with us in the chat. Thank you so much. And I see that Obed had something. What should a potential client give you to create a custom piece? Thank you for that question. When I do commissions, if at all possible, I just want a reference photo. It doesn't have to be something that I'm necessarily going to duplicate, because as a artist, that's just not ethical for me to just, recreate something. So I don't do that, and I make that clear. But yeah, just send me a reference piece or describe as detailed as you can what it is you need. Being that I'm a creative person, I can turn that into something. Sometimes we have to go with drafts first. But yeah, just send me a reference image if at all possible. That's what I would like.
And I like to call them exploration interviews. So even though you might see someone and you think, wow, I want to work with that person, I'd like that person to do something. This is whether you are a business owner or a future client customer.
Right.
Speak to that person first. Make sure you're both aligned, speaking the same language. Exploration interviews, I feel, should always be, I think they should be free. I think that should be an opportunity for, I just think they should be free. I know a lot of people charge, for those types of meetings, but I'm like, why would you do that? Because even if that person is not a good fit for you, they may know someone else who is. And because you didn't charge them, you just never know where that will go. So I highly recommend that. And I see you can talk your way to healthier relationships is saying, thank you for sharing this excellent information. I appreciate you sharing your gifts and lessons learned.
Thank you.
Hi, Ma Will Blog. Good evening. Good evening to you. Welcome. Thank you for giving us a thumbs up. I appreciate you, Ma Will. I appreciate you a lot. And so, Javonna, what I do is I have these red tabletop cards.
Ooh. Okay.
And if you were here live, I would have you select one.
Okay.
But if you're not, I'm just going to shuffle them up.
Let me act like.
Yeah, pretend like you're picking one. Okay. And I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
When was the last time you felt most like yourself?
Oh my goodness. And this is going to sound so cliche, but I feel most like myself when I'm making something. I promise you. Because it's been a lifelong thing for me to make things. Since I was a little girl. The only thing neck and neck with Barbies was the arts and crafts aisle in Toys R Us. And I'm so grateful to my mother for nurturing that. So I feel most like myself. And the last time I felt most like myself was when I was painting.
And when was the last time you painted?
It was yesterday. Yeah. No. Technically this morning, because I stay up late and paint sometimes.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
Like me, I zone out and just, I love it.
That's awesome. I
Mhm.
see Deborah Glad Tidings is saying this has been a very informative presentation. I'm going to share it with my son. Javonna, thanks a million for your time and information. Deborah,
And
thank you for joining us tonight. I want to thank everyone. And before we close, Javonna, I ask my guests, do you have any questions for me?
yes, I would just say for you, um, I don't want to make it too tough. Like, let's see. What is one of the things that you see in me that would be a trait to really develop?
Hmm.
What should I develop
What's
more?
a trait that you should develop?
Yeah, what should I do more of? Dang, it seemed like it was a hard question. I tried.
It was, but no, it's just it's a thoughtful question. So, and I want to give you a really good nugget. I would say because you are getting a lot of great opportunities. And I feel when those opportunities are coming your way, you're not quite ready with the like documentation. You know, you're it's all I want you to just think so big and prepare for the biggest thing. And so have all kinds of documents ready, proposals, commissions, you know, like have them on the ready before they're even asked for.
Yes.
You know, it's like think ahead, think 10
Yeah.
steps ahead.
Yeah. So I need to be ready when Oprah calls me. So I
Absolutely.
have that. Okay, gotcha. I have to have
Expect the unexpected.
Oprah level contracts and invoices. Gotcha. Thank
Yes,
you. Thank
yes, yes. Dare to dream big,
you.
you know, because I see your business going so far and doing so much and be so wide and just so amazing and sought after.
Don't
And
cry.
that's the one thing that I can say with my jewelry. I wasn't as prepared for it to be that big.
Okay.
And I want to see you just thrive. I mean, think about having your business as a direct sales business. You know, the things, the merchandise that you have, a lot of people could be selling that for you. Why not? You
That
know
is
what I mean? Why not?
that I'm just quiet in contemplation because that is a great point. Okay. Thank you. That
So,
was a boulder. That wasn't a nugget. That was a boulder.
oh, okay. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I'm trying to go back up and see. We had Deborah's Glad Tidings in the building, Monique Scott, Kevin King. We had Picky Dell, Mama Dell in the building. I appreciate them. Mike 2.0. Let's see. We had Obed Ford in the building. I'm so glad to see you. Miss Terrell 2.0. You can talk your way to healthier relationships. We had Vernell Livingston. And we had, I just want to make sure I get everyone. And you guys were really conversing. You were very interactive, and I appreciate that. Marwell Vlog. Thank you all. Before we close, please, in the comments, in the comment box, I see we still have 4 in the building. I want you to write, the ones that were tuned in, write down one nugget that you were able to extract from this live tonight. What is that one nugget
I
that you
was
were
already
able to
writing
pull?
something down. Somebody did a good suggestion. I was like, okay, my pen at the ready.
Yes. What was your one nugget? So let's see. Burnell said public speaking about art to children with special needs as well as elementary school kids. Absolutely. And
Thank you.
Vernell, now more than any time, you know, finding something that's going to help with mental health, with making people just focus on something positive. And art, what better thing than art? So that is a great stress reliever. That's a great refocus moment for children, for people of all ages, but
Yeah.
definitely kids would be amazing. Absolutely. Thank you for that nugget.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anyone else? And while we're waiting, I just want to give one more shout out to my sponsor, Creative Minds Create. That's the website. Well, that's their slogan. The best gifts are creative. And this is their website. Please check them out. They have amazing, amazing items. And for my special guest, Javonna Creative, her website, be sure to check her out. And even for the holidays for her, the holidays are coming up. Someone who loves unique gifts, unique items, beautiful things in their home. I mean, she has amazing coasters that will just blow your mind. And her notebooks, if you are always looking for that beautiful cover, like, I want a different kind of notebook. I want something that when it's not being used, it could be on my desk, on my table, just looking beautiful. And then I can just open it and put beautiful thoughts in it. That's the type of journals that she creates. Let's see. Her Instagram, Javonna Creative, is not with the LLC, just Javonna Creative. Facebook, Javonna Creative LLC. And to email her, to contact her, to schedule an exploration appointment. It's Javonna at javonnacreative.com.
That's right.
All right.
And
so I think we have 3 more comments. We have Obed Ford put how to determine your pricing. I'm glad that's a nugget. And he just ordered. Oh, you just ordered from Creative. Oh, that is so Creative Minds Create. That's awesome. Thank you. You can talk your way to healthier relationships, says focus group prior to mass production, and don't explain your pricing. Great stuff. Right? That focus group is the joint. I love it. Yes. Thank you, Obed. Thank you. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Javonna. Thank you, Javonna Creative, for being here, for being my special guest tonight. All know I have lives every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this channel is Real Talk with Coach Sherri. And what I do is workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. It has been my pleasure to share with you this information, to have this special guest to share her journey, her story. And I'm so glad to see that many of you gathered great nuggets. And for those of you who are catching this on replay, I hope you did as well. Please leave a message down in the box below. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, I invite you to do so tonight. If you are, thank you for rocking with me. Thank you so much for being here and so supportive. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up and share this out with anyone else in your circle that you feel needs to hear this. Thank you, Javonna. I honor you. I appreciate you so much. And everyone, remember, practice how you play, because when you practice hard, you will always play to win. This has been Real Talk with Coach Sherri. Let's see. Trying to end.